What's up, familia? Welcome to the pre-show. Got exciting stuff coming at you today. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and blast out. Guys, feel free to go ahead and drop the comments in below if you want to say you want to speak to Christian before the show starts at live at 9 p.m. Okay, so I'm gonna hop over to.
I'm refreshing, but nothing yet.
Go ahead and drop. Just go ahead and click the link again. Should work.
Oh, there it goes. All right, I see it now. Yep, I see the.
Check 1 2. Can you hear me?
It's weird how it does that. It actually changed the perspective. It changes the perspective like it almost turns you again like towards each other or something.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I
I,
have I have a whole other platform on this side that makes it look pretty cool for the viewer.
oh, I see. Yeah, because on my screen it looks like I'm straight to the camera. On yours it looks like I'm looking at you on the actual real life.
Oh yeah. Well, there's also a little bit of a delay. If I'm being so.
It's also very zoomed in. I'm trying to get
Well,
away.
the thing is that since we're sharing the screen, like okay, like watch this. Okay, so give it 2 seconds. Watch. I'm gonna take this off, and then you're gonna see all of you pop up now in a second. You see it?
Not yet, because there's a delay going on. So
So right now you're full screen on the live.
I see it now. Yeah.
So it's not zoomed in. It just takes this. It just takes the center.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna send this text message out.
Okay.
If you're on
I
if you're
kill the
on live, if
volume.
you're on
So
live, if you're on viewing us, drop a comment. Say what's up. Campaign name, episode.
yeah, if you have anybody that can actually confirm the audio, make sure that they hear it fine. I mean, on my end, I could hear it, but I have to put the volume all the way up. So I'm not sure if.
Viewers, do us a favor. Go ahead and drop a comment below. Let us know that you hear us just fine. We have 3 viewers on right now. Drop a comment below. Let us know that you see us good, that you hear us good. We're sick and tired of the technical difficulties over it. So let us know that you hear us good. Bro, it's always better to just ask the people, bro. Legit. You'd be surprised how much they actually love to help out.
Yeah, I know. That's.
Send campaigns. Hooked on two. Here we go. Options. Clone campaign.
Perfect. Ellie Alonso, thank you.
I can hear you both. Thank you, Ellie. YouTubebomb.com. Ellie, I miss you, girl. Where you been, girl? Killing me. Killing me. All right.
Mm.
All right. Salsa Kings goes live for episode 45.
Let's see if we can get to episode 2000.
That's the idea, bro. How many does Joe Rogan have now?
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's that's a podcast right there.
yeah. Go big
uh,
or go home, bro. That's how we gotta do it. And his things are like I think like 3 hours long.
I know. Yeah, he's a long. Like he's a very long, and he still gets millions and millions. So, like it's
Oh yeah.
insane.
All right, so I'm gonna shoot this out. What's today? The 12th. We're gonna go ahead and shoot this out at 9 p.m. YouTube.com Salsa Kings Dance live. Schedule message. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome on. Welcome to the show. Hey, this is the time right now. If you want to ask Christian before, talk to Christian before the show. This is the time to do it. Let's see. I can send it at 9 p.m. or I can send it now. I'm gonna send it now. We're already live now.
Yeah, I can do the same thing. Let me see if I can.
All right, schedule All right, this is gonna drop 9 p.m. All right, we're good to go. All right, so now we got those text messages going out. Cool. And then go over to the Facebook. Boop. Login. All right. ¿Cómo se llama? I forgot my Bro, there's so many passwords nowadays, bro. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, cool. New subscription managing.
The what?
¿Cómo fue?
What? No, I didn't hear what you say.
No, I'm talking shit. I mean, what?
I'm like, wait a minute, have I been drinking? I don't know.
Wait
What's
a minute.
going on?
What? Okay. Facebook post for commenting accept. Only trigger for comments with these words. Uh, no, I just send a message, bro. Olvídate eso, bro. History. Here we go. Bang, bang, choo choo train.
I'm sending it to people right now.
Que bueno, que bueno. Alright, so I'm gonna copy this. Boom. I'm gonna edit this. Boom. And then I'm gonna change this. Boom. Is that echo coming from because you're listening to it on your end, or
I now I don't hear any echo myself. I did before, but when I turn the speaker a little bit sideways, then it's not creating any echo anymore. But it was when I was talking. Every time I talked, I will hear like a little echo. But now it's fine.
okay, good. Okay, this is good to go. All right, go next. This is going to be adversity. Sola. Bro, I'm sorry, bro. I don't call you, but I don't call you Christian, bro. I call you Sola, bro. Just letting you know. Hope you're
A
okay
lot
with
of people do. Yeah, I don't know.
that. Just hope you're okay with that.
Let's see.
Episode 45. Okay, sweet. Go next. Our subject to draws cannot contain any promotional sales. This is distributed. One of the 16. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Non-promotional. Good. Salsa Kings Knives. Nice. That's scheduled for later. I'm gonna do this at what's 9 p.m. Hey guys, what's 9 p.m.
Pacific time, you mean?
No, what's 9 p.m. on the airplane time? Zulu time?
Air
Is this
airplane.
Zulu
Wait,
time? Zulu time?
what?
12 plus 9 is 21. Okay. 2100 hours.
Oh, I see. You mean military time. Gotcha.
Military, ese mismo, that's what I meant.
Oh, airplane time. I'm like, what is that?
My brother's a pilot, bro. My bad. Okay, so boom, send all at the same time. Regular push, bang. Select tag. Community alert. Okay. Community alert. Okay, sounds good. All right, schedule. Bang. All right. All right, I do kind of hear myself though.
Notification.
All right. For those of you that are on right now, drop us a comment, your name and where you are from. How did you find out about the episode? Are you guests of Solas? Are you guests of Salsa Kings? Are you friends of my mom's grandma? Holla at
Wow.
me. What is good? Bro,
Wow.
my grandma's dog
Are
got
friends with my pets? Like,
my dog's friends got friends. For sure.
literally, a guy in Atlanta this past weekend, when I was there, literally said something like, "Oh yeah, it's funny how we met. Basically, our dogs met, and then they became friends
Oh,
at
yo,
the park, and then we met because of that." I'm like, wait, what? Like you met with your dogs? Like,
2019, bro. It's crazy, bro. Increíble como está la cosa hoy en día, man. Incredible. Let's see. Okay, déjame ver. Add to. Here we go. Ellie says she can hear us both. Wonderful. Good to see you guys. Thanks, Ellie. You the bomb. We're ready to go. Hey. Okay, we're gonna. Yeah, hold on. We still got 4 more minutes. Okay.
T minus 4.
T minus 4 minutes. Again, if you are watching, drop us a comment. Let us know what your name, where you're from, how you found out about us. Any and all information helps, so we can continue reaching out to you and giving you awesome value with everything. We do have a super fire episode for you today. This is for sure. So stick around, and we're gonna get this going. Okay, so this is done. That message is gonna come through. That message will come through at 9 p.m. Let me pull us up here, and then I gotta mute us too, because I'm probably screaming on this end. There we go. Okay. Sweet.
Is it picking up the audio from your mic that you have on the side, or is it from your webcam?
Yeah. No, from the mic.
Oh, really? And it's even sideways, and it's picking it up like super loud. It's crazy.
Oye, estoy. This
Like fancy mic right there, you know?
fancy schmancy. Fancy schmancy. All right, let me turn off the messages here, bro. That's another thing, bro. With all the stuff linked up to the computer now, it's like everything dings and dongs.
Oh, yeah.
Déjame desconectar esto también. Show, show.
But I killed the audio on YouTube myself,
Yeah,
just to
yeah,
make sure
yeah, yeah.
it
No, me too, for sure.
doesn't come out.
Edit preferences. What's the deal? Oh, here we go. I know. So yeah, guys. Sola and I, we've actually gotten pretty close over the past few years. For those of you that are watching, and I've actually been trying to get him on the show since the beginning of the show, like legit.
Last year.
He's like, sorry. He's like, sorry, bro. Can't do it, bro. Bro, I want to do it, bro, but I can't do it, bro. Listen, what are you doing this weekend, bro? Nah, man, I can't do it, bro. And then he'll let me know, and then I can't do it because I scheduled somebody already. No, no, de madre, de madre. All right, so the second that these messages come through, then I'll go ahead and I'll take you off. I think your audio will still be on, so just cállate. Oíste.
Oh, you mean, I see. When you do the intro, you mean?
The no the when the messages come through, when I receive, because I'm a part of obviously all the subscriptions that I send out. So when I receive the messages, I'm gonna take you off, and then I'll actually start the show.
Okay.
We are at less than 60 seconds, getting this show on the road, ready to rock.
Yeah.
Mr. Sola, if I were to whip out the rock band right now, what are you grabbing? You doing the bass? You doing the guitar? You doing the drums? Or you singing, bro? No,
Damn. It's between lead guitar and drums.
okay.
It
I get
depends
it.
on the song. It depends on the song.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree. I like the drums and I like the bass, bro. I like being the ground. You know what I'm saying? I like
Yeah.
kind of holding stuff up here for sure. All right, now I'm getting the messages now. All right, déjame quitarte de aquí. All right, here we go. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Salsa Kings Live, episode 45, Adversity with Mr. Christian Sola. This man and I have gotten close over the past few years. Salsa Kings and the Unity of Dance Festival have been partners uh, for a few years now. A fantastic event, and definitely super blessed to be a part of it and to know him and his team, so on and so forth. Just someone that's dedicated to their craft, kind of the same way, the way that I relate to, my work and the dance scene, etc. Kind of being able to mix the art with, the elevation of the business and the whole 9 yards, which is absolutely phenomenal. This weekend, guys, for those of you that are already tuned in or that you are watching, this weekend is August Dance Weekend. For those of you that don't know, we host we promote and we aid the Miami dance community with different events around town. We try and surround the weekend around the biggest event of the month. For example, in March we do Calle Ocho. For April we do Bachateando. For this past July we did Miami Salsa Congress. January we do the World Salsa Summit, etc. So just again promoting the different events here in town. For August Dance Weekend we have different events lined up. I'm not going to go ahead and tell you what those are now, but you could subscribe to our text list, or just check it out online, miamidanceweekend.com. If you want to go ahead and receive those text messages as well, you can go ahead and receive them by typing in news.miamidanceweekend.com, and then it'll go ahead and give you the form so that you can go ahead and receive exactly that list of where we'll be at what time you're joining other Miami salseros, bachateros, etc. To go ahead and join the scene with us. Definitely, we're trying to grow this thing as big as possible, and the more dancers that there are together in the scene, obviously, of course, the more fun it is, and the more motivating it is to continue coming to classes and learning and building this thing. Without further ado, guys, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Mr. Christian Sola. He was born in Puerto Rico, based in Orlando. He's been dancing for 15 years now, working professionally for over a decade. He's the founder of the Unity of Dance Festival, like I mentioned, back in 2011, and the creator of the Sensual Bachata style here in the United States. For those of you that were watching the pre-show, we've actually been trying to get him on the show for a while now, but just go figure, just the way that timing works. He just so happens to have um, a very real story to kind of share with everybody. I honestly don't even know what it is yet, and I'm super excited to find out what that is. But assuming it has something to do with adversity, and definitely, in my experience, as we move forward, we realize that on the other side of adversity is a lot of growth and change. So I'm definitely excited to hear what he has to say. And without further ado, I'm going to bring the man of the hour literally on board. Capitan, how are you, sir?
How's it going? Thank you for
Good,
having me.
good, man. Absolutely, bro. No, more like thank you for blessing us with your presence.
Shut up.
Finally, por Dios, because no, vaya. For the rest to bring you on here finally has been literally since the beginning of the show. For
Yeah.
those that were watching on the preview, yeah, bro. But no, hey, man, I believe in divine timing, bro. So it is what it is. You're here now, and it's much appreciated, man. Definitely.
It happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. So whenever it's the right time, is the right time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not sure. I mean, you were hearing me, bring up the introduction of you, if you will. I mean, did I say anything wrong? Is all of that right? I mean, tell us for
No,
those
that
that don't
was
know you.
that was beautiful. The only thing you miss is that I'm also the creator of the twerking style
Ah, yes.
on
Sorry, I
three.
forgot. On three, to working
On
on
three
three.
though, on three. There's other
Yeah,
creators that won't want to, but on
absolutely.
three, I'm the master at that. Right there.
Good stuff. Actually, scarily enough, I've seen some of those samples that you do up on stage there in your event
I don't know
there.
what you're talking about. I have no
Yeah.
idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're
What
talking
stays?
about.
What happens at Unity stays at Unity. I'm sorry, I
Yes,
broke that.
yes,
I'm so sorry.
yes.
For sure, man, for sure.
uh,
Awesome, bro.
no, but
So
thank you for having me. Really, it's also it's I'm grateful and blessed to be here. Like you said, it's been scheduling. I used to have my classes on Monday nights, so you like to
that's
do
right.
this show on Monday nights.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it was just really tough for me to cancel my practice and my classes at the time. So now that again things happen for a reason. I'm not doing my classes on Monday, so here we are.
Gotcha. Perfect, man. Well, thank you. And that is one thing that you did. The second that did change, you definitely you hit me up, and that's much appreciated, man.
Of
As
course.
usual, we're just trying to deliver as much value to our viewers, letting them know about different scenarios and different circumstances, and letting everybody know that even though that we've been doing this for a long time, it doesn't necessarily get any easier. Just we just learn more, and the
Yep.
challenges become even bigger along the way. If that makes any sense.
Yep.
Definitely, man. For those that do not know about you, who you are, etc. I mean, I kind of gave the resume kind of points about everything. I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How did you get into dancing? What continues to drive you? Why are you still here? Like, because I know, bro.
That makes me sound so old. It's like, why are you still here after all this time?
Well, I think you're. How old are you, bro? I'm sorry. How old are you?
Me? I'm 18. I just turned
Ah,
18.
yeah.
I'm legal now.
Dancing for 15 years.
Yeah.
Empezaste cuando tenía 3 años.
I almost can drink. Almost.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
almost there. Almost there.
Right, right, right. for sure.
No, but I've been dancing for for a long time. I think like a lot of people, I got in mostly because of a hobby, something for fun. This wasn't my dream or nothing like that. I'm actually a computer nerd. For and, other people that don't know, that's what I always wanted to do, be a nerd. And I did IT for many many years, and I always wanted to learn how to dance. It was something that I wanted to do, but it wasn't until I had a girlfriend that danced and I didn't, where I was the boyfriend holding my drink in the corner,
Go figure.
there, and hey, go dance, have fun, and then I'm here like, oh man, I should be up there dancing with her.
Right.
And so that kind of gave me the extra push of like, all right, let me go out there, let me learn, and then I did finally. And so one thing turned into a hobby turned into a part time turned into like, oh, this is interesting. I think I can teach this. So I trained how to be an instructor, and then one
Nice.
thing led to the other, and then here I am. So that's kind of like how it started. And it wasn't until like the whole Sensual Bachata idea came about that I took it serious as a career type of thing, where it became a thing, and then I started traveling and all of that. So it's just crazy how it works. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't a dream that I was like, hey, I want to be famous one day and I want to travel all over the world. Like, nah, that doesn't, it was more about this is fun, this is cool, and if people liked it, then it worked out.
Right.
You know,
Right. No,
yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. I can relate more than you know, brother. Absolutely.
yep,
It kind of just falls in, and it's just like there is an opportunity here,
yep,
and I enjoy doing this, and why not? That's kind of where it falls into place, and then a bunch of other things happen along the way that you just realize that wow, there's so much work to be done, extensively.
yep. Yeah,
From
so to touch on that, like when you said that, so first it was this cool fun thing only, but then I guess to answer your question, like why am I still doing it, why do I do it, all those things. So there was a point where you realize that you have a sense of empowerment that happens, that you're like, oh, okay, actually I'm not just, now when I'm teaching, when you become an instructor and all that, you realize that okay, now I'm actually people's therapy. When people need to get away from their life and they're stressed, and they're dealing with problems or divorce, they're depressed, whatever it is. They show up to your class, and now you're not just a fun thing, but you are now something positive in the world that people look up to go, oh man, I cannot wait for Monday or Wednesday or Tuesday to go to so and so's class, not just me or whoever is teaching.
right,
And it's that sense of like, wow, I'm more important than I thought. It's not about teaching a cool move all of a sudden. It's like, oh, I can actually make a difference. And with that, if you use that power for good, which is kind of like why we're here today in this show.
right,
You can use it for bad, or you can use it for good. And for good, there's many things that you can do with it. Not only teach little kids and keep them off the streets, teach people with disabilities that they're looking for something to do. Do fundraiser things. There's so many things. So when you get that sense of, and I don't want to sound poetic for those watching, like I'm not trying to sound cute or
right,
anything,
right,
but
right,
there's a sense of like if somebody told me right now, or if I had $1 million right now and I say, hey, here's $1 million, give me power. It doesn't work that way.
right,
Like earning power is something that it's such a beautiful thing when you use it for the right things. If you use it for the bad things, then it's just not good. So when I felt that, I was like, man, I really want to keep this feeling. I want to keep helping people. I want to make a difference, and that's why I keep doing it. Yes, I get paid. Of course, I'm not trying to deceive anybody. Yes, this is what I do for a living. It is my career.
right.
But like a doctor, it's your career to be a doctor, and you get paid to be a doctor, but you also hopefully enjoy saving patients' lives. You enjoy, doing things like that. That's what I mean. It's like there's a sense of wanting to wake up in the morning or afternoon or whenever you wake up, and
Right.
then go and do what you do because you love it and because you're making a difference. So that's kind of like where I'm at. It sounds kind of cliche or whatever, but yeah.
Hey, bro, the more that I'm teaching and the more that I'm doing this, it's so funny because I use you said poetic. I'm gonna start using that word because I just straight up use the word corny. I'm just like, bro, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound corny because a lot of things that are just coming out of my mouth when I'm teaching my classes, it's just like it sounds super corny. It's like,
Yep.
guys, we need to move together as one, and it's like, okay, but that's really what it is. Like, it's not. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. Like, that's literally the concept of connecting and moving together and being conscious of each other, and aka poetic, corny, etc. So
Yeah.
for sure, man, I couldn't agree more for
It's
sure.
funny because when I did when the idea of the Unity of Dance Festival was just an idea, I had that conversation with a couple of people, and then some people would listen to me talk about it, like, oh, like I have this dream of like uniting all forms of dance and like putting everything together, and not just Latin but ballroom and ballet.
Right.
And they're all always, not all of them, but some of them will make fun of me and say, oh, you're dreaming too much. Like this is just like a, like you just, you're trying to sound like this Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
coming in, and I'm like, no, I mean, I'm serious. Like this is an idea that is different. And so,
Right.
so yeah, so it's sometimes we sound, because we're passionate and we're trying to really do something that we're passionate about. We may sound a little corny or poetic,
Right. Right. Right.
uh, you know.
No, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt about it. So tell us, brother, when you, okay, so for those of you that don't know, for all of our interviews, we actually have our interviewees choose the topic that they're most passionate about, or they're coming across, or they feel that they can deliver the most value for you in particular. So, Mr. Sola chose adversity. Adversity being challenges, being roadblocks, being fences, hurdles, different opportunities for one to gain awareness of oneself, whether it be through people, whether it be through circumstances, whether it be through both, whether it be a loss in the family, whether it be a friend that hurt you, maybe a backstab or whatever, just general life circumstances that basically everybody goes through. um, and I think that's kind of the topic, is that everyone does go through this. And and I guess how we deal with that is obviously extremely important. And in the dance scene, just like any other, whether it be professional or personal, it doesn't change. It's definitely going to be there. So having that awareness is important, so that we can just quickly get over it and get on to the next thing. So Chris, tell us, like, what exactly do you mean specifically when you say this? What does adversity mean to you, and how can we help our viewers and listeners when tackling this? And what scenario do you present as an example of this?
Yeah, so I think what's important first to, and you kind of hit it on, right there a couple of times. Like, I think what's important to understand is that adversity is a very, vague word. There's a lot of meaning to it. It could be different levels, different kinds, and so, when we're talking about adversity in this case, towards dance and towards this entertainment world kind of thing. There are different kinds of that, and that, why. I guess the most important thing before we even get into anything, why are we even talking about this? Why is this even important? If you're watching, or why you should share this with somebody out there. I think the most important reason why I feel that it's important, and it should be shared out there, is because there's a lot of people that deal with this, and you don't have to be a professional dancer. You don't have to be, even a great dancer. Just people experience adversity all the time, and sometimes you hear the news with bullying and things like that. But adversity could be as simple as somebody not being fair with you, and,
Sure.
and giving opportunities to other people. And then you're trying to learn and you're paying money to be a dancer or whatever, but then you're not really treated as equal as somebody else, or you have your social dancing, and somebody, gives you like an energy or face, or treats you in a way that you feel less than other people while you're social dancing. So I think one of the biggest, most important things about adversity is that there's nothing good about it. There's nothing that comes out of adversity, with the exception of whoever goes through it. Hopefully, they come out stronger.
Right.
But in the first place, there shouldn't be any adversity in the first place. So if we can try our best to keep it away from everything, especially with something like dance or entertainment, we will be in such a better place. So it's funny, to kind of refer to a friend of mine that might be watching right now. She recommended this book called Chaos and Order,
Okay.
and I've been
Yes.
reading this book. I'm almost done with the book, but that's what the book is about. It's about the fact that life in general, you want order. Of course, we all think, okay, we want order in our lives, but a lot of times you have to go through chaos first in order to get to that order. And if you haven't read the book, look it up. It's great. But
Do you know
but
the
yeah,
Do you know
so.
the author's name by chance? I'm sorry.
I don't have it in front of me right now. Actually, I can tell you right now. Give me.
Yeah, please.
It's and I'm not sponsored by this guy.
No, no, no. I want to throw it. I want to throw it up in the chat so that everybody seeing
Yeah, this
can
is
see. They can look it up themselves here.
uh, so the book itself is actually called 12 Rules for Life.
12. Okay, 12 rules for life. Okay.
Yeah, 12 Rules for Life. His actual name is Jordan B. Peterson is the name of the author. And it
Jordan.
has basically the premise of the book is chaos and order, which is you know what the premise and what he talks about throughout the entire team. So he'll give you 12 different rules that you can follow in order to deal with this.
Beautiful.
And it's really good. It's a really good book. It's very nerdy and has a lot of big words in there. So you
Sure.
definitely have to kind of like sit down and relax and let your mind go. Um, but yeah, so for me particularly, I think when we start talking about adversity, a lot of the times the assumption is we're talking about simply dealing with haters. And one thing for those watching, so you can understand, we hear the word haters all the time, and you hear that in Hollywood and everything else as well. Yes, there's going to be haters in life, in the sense that psychology based wise, people say it has to do with jealousy, it has to do with insecurities. That's maybe they feel like they're less than you, or maybe they feel threatened about what you're doing, and maybe sometimes it's like they've been passionate just like you for many years, working 20 years to do something, and here comes some other person, and somehow people are liking this new person,
Right.
and then all of a sudden they feel like, man, this sucks, and they feel insecure that they may disappear, and so their mechanism of defense is then to become quote unquote a hater, and they start bashing your name, or they start telling people that you're a bad person, or whatever the case is. So that's
Antagonist. Sure.
yeah, and that's kind of like what we describe as haters when it comes to that, and that it's always going to be there. I mean, I've done this for 15 years. For 15 years, I've had people like that. I think I want to believe that I have more people that like me and follow me and support what I do than actually hate me. But there's always people out there that are going to hate you. And in the beginning, when you're more naive and you're more um, you have more flaws, I guess, that you have to learn. You go through chaos, like I said.
Right.
You tend to get defensive when somebody goes out there and bashes your name because it's not true, for example, or if somebody's trying to attack you, then you try to battle back, and that's kind of like the immaturity from my end. If I'm the one being attacked, and then you learn that if you stay neutral and you just don't even let that even be part of your life, like you ignore it. If it's social media, you block those people. If it's somebody that is
Right.
in person, you walk away. You don't show up to where they at. Whatever the case is, then usually it kind of fades away. It's kind of like when you're growing up as a kid and your mom tells you, if somebody's like trying to bug you, don't pay attention. They're gonna get bored. Same thing. That's
Right.
one advice that my mom told me when I was young. When I was in school, I was always a little kid. I had a growth problem when I was growing up, and I was always a little kid that everybody was trying to bully. I never cared, and I was always the center of attention, the clown in class. Everybody wanted to be with me because I was the cool kid or whatever, but I was always the little skinny, nerdy looking kid. But I just didn't care about these bullies, and so they got bored after a while, and then they stopped.
Right.
So that's kind of like that. But then from there, there's a different level that this is when it starts becoming a serious thing, and this is when it becomes a little more personal for me. And it's been a couple 2 3 years now that I've been thinking about this, talking about it, talking to different very smart people and stuff like that. And it has to do when you actually cross the line from just simply saying bad mouthing somebody and making up a rumor like this person is ugly or they suck or whatever,
Sure.
to like, okay, make up something like, okay, this person stole somebody's money. You should not follow this person because they're a bad person. Once you say something like that, that's more of a serious accusation. For example,
Right.
that if you call real life outside of dance, even though it's all the same, but that is serious. You can't work at an office. Imagine yourself working at an office and you have 200 employees, and you're gonna go to your boss and you're gonna say, I saw John steal $5,000 from your office.
Right.
Yes, you should fire him. And if he gets fired, that's really bad. You can go to jail, you can go to court because of something like that. You're maliciously hurting somebody's life and their income, their family, their support system, all of those things. So not only that is a malicious act, it's also a lie, and it also has a lot of repercussions that happen after
Of
that. To you,
course.
it might be just, oh, I just did that so he can get out of my face, but there's so much more that happens for you, by doing that.
Absolutely.
And so that to me is when it crosses the line, when you come up with things like that will be untrue. On a bigger picture than that, in our case, we're in this industry where it's dance and all of that. There's a bigger picture than me. There's a bigger picture than the person that hates me. There's a bigger picture than all of that. It's that this community is a community type of industry. We depend on each other as
100%.
an industry. It's not. I can be the best dancer in the world, and I'm not by any means. But let's say I was the best dancer in the world. Just because I'm the best dancer, I have the best studio. I have I don't know, the best looks. I have $5 million in my account. If I had all of that, I still depend on the community to like me and care about me and show
100%.
up to my classes, to my parties. I'm nobody without them.
Right.
Same thing goes for Beyonce. Beyonce is an amazing, talented person. If nobody shows up to her concert, she's nobody.
Right.
So, so that aspect is, that's the important thing to understand. So, when if I hated, let's just put Andres in an equation. If I had a problem with Andres and I want to go online and bash Andres and all that, in my mind, I'm thinking, this is me and Andres. I'm going to bash him. People stop supporting him. I win the battle. And that's kind of like the ignorant way of thinking about this.
The
But
short-minded, the right now results as opposed to
right
as a
now, short goal and then narrow minded, where it's like you don't see that what the bigger impact is.
right.
Now, let's say you win. I'm the hater. Andres goes out of business. People hate Andres from this point on, and then I quote unquote win the battle. What does that mean? Well, maybe my classes, if we're teaching the same thing, maybe people come to me now because there's no other competition. Maybe that happens. Maybe my socials are a little better. But what I've seen so far is that anytime any negative approach like that happens, what it does is actually affects the community in general. It affects both sides. You're
Right.
gonna have people that are gonna say, I believe Christian because I support Christian for so long, and whatever he says is true. There's some people are gonna say, I know Andres for 20 years. I don't believe what Christian is saying or whatever. There's gonna be people in the middle, like I don't know what the deal is, and there's gonna be people that are gonna be like, you know what, I don't like this whole energy. I'm just gonna stay away from this whole energy.
Right.
So now you have all this chaos happening that is unnecessary, and everybody's affected. Now, what about the new students that are coming in? They don't even know Andres or Christian.
Right.
So they come in and they go, oh, I heard that there's classes and this is a fun community and you come and you dance and you meet people. But when they show up, all they see is this whole negativity going on, battles and back and forth and all this crap.
Yep.
And it's just so much. It's not worth anything, like it's almost more worth if you have a problem with somebody, confront that person in person, talk to that person, pull them to the side, create a meeting. I don't know, box fight, do an MMA fight between
Sure.
you two, and
Yeah.
privately. Don't put it on social media. Just meet up and fight each other until death and see who wins, and that's it. Like don't. There's no point of involving everything,
Right.
and affecting the community. So, um, you know, I I think the sad part for people like myself, and I think a lot of times people misunderstand, my message or anybody's message, because I'm not the only one with this. There's a lot of people that have
Of
gone out
course.
there and said same things like that. Is that one, they think we're playing victims, number one. Two, they think that we're just trying to create drama and exaggerate things, or anything like that. Or three, we're weak because we're letting, some haters determine who we are, or that we feel like we're less than them, so they're winning, they're more powerful. All of those things.
You're saying that though that happens when we don't do anything? Is that's
No,
a
when we speak up, like if I
oh when we
if I
speak up?
go,
Okay.
yeah, when you speak, like this interview is happening right now, and then
Okay.
some people might watch this show right now and might think, oh, well, Christian is talking about this thing, like if you're strong enough, you don't even have to talk about it, you just
Right.
brush off the haters and you live your life and you do your thing. I mean, sure, that sounds,
There
if you have never dealt with it,
right. But then there's awareness. Then there's the spreading the message that this really does exist.
right?
And if and just kind of like everything else, it's kind of like that fine that there is a fine line. There's the awareness, and then there is, okay, now you're blowing this out of proportion and you're giving it energy. But if there's no awareness, and letting people know that that this really does happen, this really does exist, it kind of allows people to kind of make up their own mind from a clear neutral standpoint, I guess you can say, if I'm saying that wrong, if I'm saying that
No,
correctly.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the best example is like Me Too movement, racism. I mean, so many things that we can mention that if
Right.
these people stood quiet, then nothing will happen.
Right.
And then you're always going to have some extremists, yeah, that are going to go too far. But awareness is awareness, and it's definitely very important. And so I think when you're thinking that it's just easy to brush something off. Again, if we're talking about the simple haters aspect of, oh, somebody just doesn't like me, or they're saying, I don't know, they're making up that I'm gay, or that or that I'm a bad person, or just
Right.
saying random. Then yeah, sure, I don't lose sleep out of that. I go to bed, I wake up in the morning, I don't even think about that stuff. Like, that's just, it's funny to me, it's amusing, it's not, but when it comes to something that does affect somebody's life, some people get bullied on the dance floor. Some people get looked down upon on the dance floor. I know students that they go to Studio A, and just because they go try a class on Studio B,
Oh yeah. Oh my
now
God. Tremendo lío.
Studio A people look at them like they just became peasants or something. Like,
Right.
it's just all of a sudden they're bad people. Because they went over there. So that is an example of adversity right there, and that's not good. You should be confident enough about your product that you don't need to worry about somebody going to another studio
What a
and then, hey,
concept.
go over there, try something. I'm confident you'll be back here, and if you don't come back here, then you shouldn't be with me regardless. You
Right.
should go there because you belong there, and
Right.
that's it. And so it's, again, is that there's a bigger picture of this. So one big thing that I think out of all this message that I think it would hopefully help understand a little more, because this is not about me. This is not a video. This is not a show about what happened with me, and making it about me. But at the same time, think this is a really very, like, powerful example. Think about the people that are low self-esteem, or they have too many issues in life, or they're depressed, or whatever the case is, and then they deal with some sort of bullying. Sometimes it's cyberbullying, sometimes it's bullying in person, sometimes it's adversity, sometimes it's whatever the case is. And the end result for those people, it's they commit suicide or something like that. That's the worst that can happen. That's the worst. The least that can happen is you have some haters talking crap, and then they bother somebody to a point that they're bothered, and you make their day miserable for one day or two. That's like the least that can happen. The worst is somebody can die. And that's not exaggeration.
Yeah.
That's not like in the
Especially
dance world,
especially
like
not
anything
not in
else.
today's
With
day that people are like, esto
Yeah,
es normal now. Like, it's like, wow.
yeah, and it happens more often than people think. A lot of people have, if you research how many people have committed suicide because of cyberbullying, the numbers are outrageous. That's just cyberbullying alone, and so something that I've dealt with some rough stuff the past 2 years. I was in the hospital, things like that, and the next level that these individuals in Orlando that they took, because everything else didn't work, because I'm not gonna let comments and stuff like that work. They felt like, okay, well, he's in the hospital now. That's a perfect opportunity to take this and let's make it to the next level. And for them, to take pictures of me and that I was in the hospital, put them online, made up that I was faking a mental illness, that I was trying to get people's attention. This is all public on Facebook. When this happened, and I have family members next to me in the hospital crying, I have people that are visiting me that saw me there at the hospital, that all of these things, and it was a rough time. Imagine if I had low self-esteem, if I had a problem with depression or something like that, and then I would have killed myself. That could have happened. That's a real thing. That's not me exaggerating. That could have happened. It didn't. I'm stronger than that, and thank God that I'm not that kind of individual, and I'm not dealing with something like that. But imagine if that would have happened with somebody. Then what then? Then do we look the other way and
Wow.
we say, "Oh, well, we didn't know. We were just joking. It was a joke." And, now we lost somebody. And that the only reason why I've been very passionate this past year or 2 years after I saw that kind of approach is that I don't think about me. I think about maybe tomorrow is not me. Maybe tomorrow these people take another person and they take the same approach. And maybe that person is not as lucky as me. And now we lose somebody. I wouldn't want that. Yes, life needs chaos and order and all that, but there's some things that we can prevent. And
Oh,
people like that should not
absolutely.
be empowered to do those things. And so you know, after dealing with that, I kind of felt like, in 15 years that I've been doing this, I've seen bad mouthing, I've seen rumors, I've seen unprofessional stuff at events. And by all means, I'm not perfect. My festival has been a work in progress. My businesses have been a work in progress. So we all
Naturally,
make mistakes and all
naturally,
that.
naturally.
And yeah, I'm sure you have made mistakes. Yourself
Absolutely. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'll be the
a
first one.
lot. But I think common values and things that we all agree as a society that are good or bad, that I think that's where they draw the line. And in 15 years, I've never seen something, with the exception of some of the people in the past 15 years, that there has been rape cases that have happened in the dance scene and things like that have been in the news. That has been something that has happened, maybe the worst things, but this has been like the worst thing I've seen. And my worry is that we live in an era where this show is coming up right now, and maybe this can help a lot of people, and this can put a word out there. If people watching can share it and get it out there, this can help prevent a lot of things. But a lot of times we rather see the post that so and so posted
Yeah, that's the sticky
saying,
part.
"Oh, yeah, Christian Sola or Andres is this," like blah blah, and then now they has 300 comments on Facebook
Right.
mocking and with memes and all this thing for whatever. When you don't know the real story of what's happening in the background, and then it could create something worse,
Right.
far worse than what it is. So because of where we live now, my worry is that, yeah, we could lose that sense of good power that I was mentioning in the beginning, that we can use for good. We can do so many great things. We can still compete. I have a lot of competitors in Orlando for the past 15 years. We all compete against each other. Sometimes they do good, sometimes I do good, but we never cross the line on doing anything, you know,
Malicious.
malicious. We just are business minded. And so I'm going to come up with a better idea than yours, and hopefully I win and I do better than you. But there's a difference between that, McDonald's and Burger King
Right.
competing against each other, besides the CEOs slashing the CEO's tires of the other guy.
Right.
And they try to say, I hope that he crashes and dies so that McDonald's can be more successful. That's bad.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like where we at right now, where I'm at. I think the message is, it's, it's important to create the awareness that diversity is out there, and then try to find and try to really look for signals and hints out there of who's doing this, and should you support this person or not. Should you be putting money in their pockets? Should you be going to their social or to their classes? If you know for a fact, like if you see it, person A does this and you see it publicly right there on your face, person B, you see what they do. It's not a rumor. It's not somebody told you this person said
Right.
this. Like if you see it with your own eyes and you have 100% certainty that you know the truth, then do you do the right thing or you do the wrong thing? And you say, I just want to dance, and I'm gonna ignore that this person is a bad person, and
Right.
and that's kind of like where I'm at. So I'm very passionate about that. I still don't go out and let me bash somebody. I'm not gonna go and mention names in this interview and try to say don't go here,
Right.
don't go
Right. Right.
there.
Right. No. No. For
Uh,
sure.
but I'm very passionate about the fact that I also stand for what is right. And if the least that I can do is not support someone or something that I know for a fact is causing something like that, then at least I'm gonna do that. And that's my little help that I'm gonna put in the world, I guess, like a little seed, to
Sure.
try
Well,
to help.
that's the idea of this, brother. I'm a firm believer that that how you do one thing is how you do everything,
Mhm.
and there's you know the you, especially as dancers, you can learn a lot about people by the way that they dance, by the way that they act. Um, there, it's just it's more so not even so much about a person, but more so about an energy, in my opinion. Supporting a specific energy. I mean, we actually did. I did an episode. Actually, it's episode 9 for those of you who want to check it out. People power. I think that people don't realize their own abilities to support and or hurt
Mhm.
whatever it is that they want. Like us being the public, I guess you could say, even if it's putting something like a silly Michael Jackson eating popcorn in the comments, like that is you're providing energy towards something. Like it might be a joke to you, but what you're doing uh obviously we want to just be able to put our energy and put our power towards things that are positive and uplifting. And unfortunately, because people don't really understand to the magnitude that I would like them to of how powerful they really are, um, there's more attention and there's more attraction naturally to negative things. That's why the news is absolutely ridiculous. The second that they put anything ridiculous on there, anything type of bad news, that's
Yep.
that's when that's when their ratings go up, and that's when they get paid more money to
Yep.
feed you crap. Like, it's like people don't understand that all they had to do is just turn. The second that everybody turns their TVs off is the second that all of this bad news goes away. Like, it's literally that simple. We can literally attract and create the experience that we want by the attention that we give. And when it goes back to what you're saying is, as far as for specific people and specific individuals, you know, by us kind of ignoring it, who says this? Edmund Burke, I think. Yeah, Edmund Burke. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. And for us to continue to support what, at least what we feel is good, right? I mean, everyone has their own opinions, obviously, but make the conscious decision that you're doing the right thing,
Right.
because what goes around comes around, and the effects are like a pond, like a ripple. It's
Right.
absolutely incredible, and I always try to do as best as I can, because I feel you, bro. I've had my share of all of this as well, and I just do what I can to just try and stay above it. Literally just try and stay above it. I always try and tell myself that, and others that come to me for guidance, kind of like the same thing. It's just continue doing what you're doing. People eventually are gonna pick up on their energy as well, and then they're gonna make a decision. I've had people hate me over the years, and then eventually come back to me telling me how much they love me, because I stood my ground. I stood my ground. I didn't go fetch them. I didn't. There, everyone. The truth, the truth comes around. It always ends up coming around some way or another. And that's it. And that's it. Lo que está para ti, nadie te lo quita. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, I,
you have to bring it back to to dancing, yeah, and
absolutely,
music.
absolutely. But there's the
No,
but
I mean,
there's so much
to
truth.
that point, I think because what you're saying, I've heard it a couple of times in this in this whole process, that I've talked to many people, and I think one of the things that I've done to try to do my own research and my own, I guess, not meditating, but like analyzation of all of this is I talk to people from all sorts of backgrounds, all sorts of businesses, not just in dance, but just in general. And you hear a lot of the times you hear kind of the same. Hey, there's karma. Karma's gonna take care of it. Hey, pray if you're religious. Like,
Right.
if you pray, God will have the answer for you. If you, like you're saying, if you just keep doing what you're doing, people are gonna pick up on the energy, and eventually you'll be fine. And all of those things are true. I've put some of those things already in practice for so long, for 15 years, and that's exactly what happens. It's like you keep doing what you're doing, you do the right thing, and then there's a full circle, and sometimes that circle takes a month, sometimes 3 months,
Yes.
sometimes 5 months, and then you're back. The challenge is, and here's another example. I can never say his last name, but Steve. Sorry, his last name is Wozniak or something like that. It was Steve Jobs'
Oh, Wozniak.
partner.
Yeah, Steve Wozniak.
Wozniak, yeah, Wozniak, yeah. So, they both come up with this idea. They create Apple. They create the computer, all this stuff, whatever. What happens? The story is that Steve ran with it, and then Wozniak got the bad end of the stick.
Right.
And then Steve went on to make billions of dollars, and Wozniak did pretty good for himself, eventually. But in his case, he's still waiting for the karma and the prayers and the good thing to come around, and he's 60 something years old now. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that, and so the reality is sometimes there are people that actually lose for life. They're done. This type of action that happened tainted their life. Now one person can say, well, if this person is successful, they'll find a way to be successful and do
Right.
something else, whatever. And that's true. I think that's why he did. He's not a loser. He's not a
Right.
homeless person on the street. He's still successful in people's eyes. He's still made, I think, millions. I believe he made millions of dollars. He did pretty well for himself. But if you ask him, I'm pretty sure his answer will be, well, yeah, I never fulfilled my dream 100% because this action that was taken and I was not able to battle that in any way, I lost. I lost that. And there's nothing that can bring it back. He has millions of dollars right now, and even having millions of dollars right now in the bank cannot bring that opportunity back that was taken away from him at that moment. So, we're not doing this show. I'm not speaking all this to try to sound like I'm a messiah or this is like a perfect thing or like
Claro.
of course, there's going to be things that we have to deal with in life and all that. But I think we all have also an opportunity to try. And like you said, comments on Facebook or whatever the case is, negativity, all that. I'm not saying that I don't do it too. Of course, we all do some funny jokes that
Claro.
might be a little bit distasteful for other people. I'm an expert on that. We all do instigate certain things that are playful. If Carlos Cinta watches this at any point, Carlos Cinta and I go and battle on Facebook all the time, and people think we're not friends, and we're joking privately. We're talking to each other like, "Oh, I can't believe people are falling for this." And on social media, we're hating each other like, "Oh my God, you suck!" Like I hate traditional. And he's like, "I hate Sensual Bachata," and so it's funny to us. So that's an example of things that I've done that maybe to some people that's not good because maybe people watching that don't know my relationship with him may interpret that in the wrong way. But am I doing something that is gonna get Carlos Cinta out of a job? No. Am I hurting somebody's life by doing a distasteful joke like that? In that case, no. So there's limits to everything. Even if you like to play that way, even if you like to put those kind of comments sometimes, whatever, there are times that maybe they're a little more appropriate, and then sometimes they're not. And on a bigger note than that, if you do know the truth about something, again, some of the people in Orlando that I know that call themselves my friends, that I've known for more than 10, 15 years, that have messaged me and called me and email me and tell me in person, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry about what you're going through. Like I can see it. I've seen exactly what these people have done. It's crazy. I
Oh
can't
wow.
believe people are supporting them. I can't believe." But then that same person that is telling me this still goes there. That same person that is telling me this to me have not posted a comment on Facebook defending what happened or standing up for me or for what is right in general, just to say something about it, you know. And so that's the eye opening. This weekend in Atlanta, I met somebody very great, a very amazing person, and not only her story made my story feel like there's always somebody that is dealing with something more bigger and more challenging than you,
Right.
which is also another thing. Here you are dealing with something, and you're like, man, my life is a mess. And then this other person comes in and says, well, here's my story. And then you're like, ah, shit. Well, there's nothing I can say anymore. I don't know if you can curse in the show, but I guess I just did. so, do you have a beep in the show? Like,
Yeah,
beep?
we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
so, but, not only that, but then she told me when I'm telling her my story, she tells me, she's like, well, are they really your friends? Do they really have your back? Because if they start the conversation by saying, I have your back, I've known you for 15 years, this and that, but then nothing happens. And all they did was thoughts and prayer, which I'm not saying it's wrong, but there's also action that you can take.
Actions speak
That's
louder
what
than words, always.
that's when you stand there and you're like, then you start questioning. I was like, man, well, who is my friend now? Who, like, is there anybody that really cares about what the truth, if they know the truth, if they know it? I'm not saying
Right.
if you don't know. I don't want anybody watching this to just believe me because you like me or something, and then you're gonna go ahead and go crazy now on social media. No, you want to find the facts. You want to find the truth. You want to dig in. You want to look in public posts and see. But it's an interesting position to be, and it's eye opening, and it's a little bit emotional, and then you have to kind of look into that. But I think coming out of all of this, you have to that you have to realize one thing, that you're on your own for the most part in your life, and you have to do your best by yourself, and imagine that you don't have support. Imagine that you don't have anybody that is out there that is going to help you. Imagine that people don't care, and you may have some that do, and you may have some that do help you along the way,
Right.
but you have to assume that you're on your own, because it's that's a reality. Unfortunately, it sounds sad. It sounds maybe not encouraging, but it's the truth.
Well,
So you come out stronger because you really have to deal with it on your own and face it on your own. It's like a monster in front of you, and then you're
absolutely.
like, all right, what can I do? And hopefully, if you figure it out on time, then great. If you have some people that support you and help you, and then they stand with you to battle this challenge, even better. Now you have a team of people that battle. So
Right.
yeah.
No, no, 100%, man. I hear you, and it's a big realization. It's definitely a huge realization, actually, and it's kind of just like, um, taking ultimate responsibility on. We have in our beginners course, like we teach our syllabus is based off of principles. So we like one of our principles right in the beginners is responsibility, and it's kind of just letting it's more for the leads, letting them know it's like everything that happens is on you. You're the lead.
Yeah.
You are the you are you're the lead. Yeah, the lady can help, but that's what she's doing. The lady is helping. The lady is making your job easier, but you are the one that asked her to dance. You take all the responsibility. Everything that happens is on you. So it's kind of like that kind of eye opener, that kind of realization that it's like, okay, yeah, it might not go as much as as well as I would have liked to. There's definitely so much more that she can do, and it's easy to point the finger, but we
Hmm.
kind of instill in our students right from the get go, that concept of responsibility. The image that pops into my head, there's like a meme that's like comparing a boss to a leader, where there's like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
there's a boss like on a chair with like people carrying him, and they're like he's pointing forward, whereas the leader is in the front dragging the thing in front of the helpers. And then you see like all these, these epic, like Spartan movies and all this kinds of stuff, where you have, the leader of the pack in the front, the first
Right.
one going into battle, and it's kind of the same thing. Just taking responsibility ultimately for your choice and your decision. And if anybody ends up coming to help you, then that's exactly what it is. Is people are coming to help you.
Hmm.
Um, I actually have another. I've been inspired by another by kind of like this whole thing, kind of like the difference between help me versus do it for me. And a lot of people think that help means to do it. I want you to do my job for me. And if everyone's kind of just leaning on each other, well, then nothing does really end up happening. Where's the base? Who's
Hmm.
the one that's actually making it happen? And essentially, if you're the one making these decisions, well, then you need to be the one to back that up and till death, whatever,
Right.
for whatever it is that you're standing for. And that help is exactly that. Help to make what you would have done all on your own easier. So I definitely agree with you, and it's a huge one, and it does suck. It does suck. You couldn't have said any better. It sucks, and I wish there's not like a more. I think that's the best word, even though like there's there's a million like bigger words, that you could say for that, but it just sucks. It just sucks, but it is what it is, and that kind of it's almost like that power that comes from that responsibility is
Sure.
also really enlightening and huge too, because it's like, you know what, if I want to do something, well, then I need to be prepared to do all of it
Right.
on my own. And then that kind of going into it like that is definitely, it sucks, but it definitely prepares you so much more for what's to come in the next challenge and the next wave of adversity and the next asshole that comes in, like whatever it is, just kind of just taking it with your lightsaber or weapon of choice, and going at it your own, you know what I mean? So I mean, I guess, okay, so moving forward, man, so what so now what, so okay, so all shit happens,
Right.
now what, what does this mean for you? um how what would you say is kind of like a mindset, other than what we've already covered, for those that are watching, that they should best, how they should perceive things, how they should move forward with things, etc.
I think. I mean, I think like you kind of made it distinctive. You have the leader, like you said. Have to think. I'm by myself. I'm gonna lead by example, and I'm gonna do what I have to do, and I'm gonna assume that nobody's helping. And then there's the entity of
the community itself, like what do they want, and how important this community is. Is this something that you see yourself doing for the rest of your life? Like you want to have dancing, whether you're married or you're single or whatever, but you
Right.
know that dance is something you want to be involved in some shape or form. And then how can you contribute to that? So I think moving forward, I think there's both aspects of it. Like I think everybody has to know what to do next. For myself as a leader, um, you should always, a true leader should always find ways to become better, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to to number one, accept your flaws, and I've mentioned a few that I have, but I have many more. I mean, like I have plenty of flaws, and as a dancer, that's exactly the mindset that I had in order to become who I am today.
100%.
Because every time I took coaching, and I've coached with so many people, in Florida alone, like Billy Fajardo and many other people. Every time I coach with somebody, I always, and I can say this 100%, I always say to them, don't waste any time of the private lesson telling me how good I am,
Right.
giving me encouraging words, or saying me good job. Like I don't want to hear any of that. I just want you to tell me all the things that I'm doing wrong
Right.
so that I can fix them.
Absolutely.
That's what I want. And so as a leader, you have to be okay with that. That's the first thing. Okay, I have flaws. What are they? How can I make them better? That's first. Then from there, okay, so now I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm working hard, but then I have X, Y, and Z that become the adversity. If it's a challenge that it's just in general, the economy, five new studios open up in town, this and that, whatever, then how do you deal with that? Great. If it's a more of a socialized and personalized thing, like certain individuals and then turning people against you and things like that, that's when it becomes a little more challenging. And the only all along what I've relied into all this time has been that you keep doing what you're doing. You demonstrate that you don't fire back. You demonstrate that you don't project negativity like they are doing.
Right.
And then even the people that may not know anything about you, but they don't like you because maybe somebody else says something, so they just automatically have a bad taste about you. Or perhaps those that even are basic haters that kind of like they just don't kind of like you, they still respect you. They still respect you as a person, and there's a sense of, with respect, I mean there's a sense of like respect as in almost like fear. Like I don't want to mess with this guy because I know they mean business. They said that kind of respect, and I know that for a fact because when I went through what I went through 2 years ago, when I was in the hospital, I had people that don't support me at all, that have badmouthed me, that have not come to my socials, that they're quote unquote a hater, and those people called me and left me a message. They wanted to make sure that I was okay, blah blah blah, and things like that, and that was very powerful. It just
Wow.
shows me that those people are, yes, they may not like me because they have differences in what we do in business, but they're not trying to be malicious and hurt my life or
Right.
not care about my life. And that's the difference between those and the other stuff that I'm dealing with right now, and maybe other people are dealing with. So I think the only challenge that I am dealing with, and I wish I had an answer. If I had an answer, then I wouldn't even be talking about this right now. Is that I don't know if there's a way for me uh, to do the same local stuff and do what I do for this community that I care so much about and continue forward with having an elite kind of group that are together, very organized and very adamant about what they're doing, and strategically taking some actions that clearly are working. I don't know if it's possible because of the nature of this business. If I was in the McDonald's or burger business, then relationships don't matter.
Right.
At that point, it's who has the best service, who has the best burger, who has, and I have no threatening. I don't feel threatened at all by skill set. I'm not saying that I'm the best dancer in the world, but I know what I do, and people respect what I do, and so I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about my service. I take care of people. I'm not worried about my professionalism. All of those things are intact. That has not changed. But the nature of our business require relationships, and it does require collaboration between individuals. It just happens, and some people say it doesn't. Go on Facebook, spend $2 million on marketing, and I assure you that your class is going to be packed. That's true. That can happen. So now I go tomorrow, I do that, in the next 3 weeks, I get 1,000 people come to my studio and I'm packed. And I go, my classes are great, and I throw a social, and that social is packed. But those 1,000 people that came, they're gonna hear in the next 3 weeks. They're gonna hear, well, you know what? There's also another event happening on a different day that you're not doing your thing. When they go over there, and then they go over there, and they go over there, and they start listening to the same things, the social aspect again gets affected, because that's the type of business that we're in. They're the type of business that, you know, people say, well, not everybody listens to that stuff. That's true. That's also true. So let's say Andres goes and says Christian Sola stole $1 million from an old lady, and and bought strippers, for little kids, something ridiculous like that.
Sola.
And yeah, and then you told 10 people that. Do I think all 10 people are going to believe you? No. Maybe one.
Right.
1 out of 10 are going to go, you know what? I can see Christian doing that. That makes sense. And so that one person tells 10 people, and out of those 10, one believes this. And now you have two that believe it.
Right.
So if we have a community of 1,000 people, if 30 or 40 people believe that, that's a big number now.
Right.
That it starts affecting other numbers. So I don't know. I don't have the answer. I wish I had on my phone. I wish I had on speed dial Tony Robbins right now, because I will call Tony Robbins to ask this question. But I don't know, and I don't know if he will have the answer for it either, because it's a very specific kind of industry that is very different to other businesses. So I don't know if it's possible to just do your thing, do your business, whatever, and all of a sudden these people keep doing what they're doing, and somehow magically it just doesn't, it doesn't affect anymore. Maybe, but as of right now, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it happening. What I have seen happen in other industries, in other communities that deal with this, because we're not the only ones. This is all over the world. Mostly in the U.S., I will say, unfortunately. In Europe, it's not as bad as here, but it's definitely all over the U.S. What I have seen happen is when people within the community, like regular people, regular dancers, do make even just a very basic move, like private texting other people, hey guys, let's go over here, let's pay attention to what's going on. I mean, I think we see what's going on, let's make some action about this. Oh, we're going to post this on Facebook, we're going to say this. When people in the community take action in whatever shape or form that is, it is a lot more powerful than me or any other leader that is out there. And the perfect example is, I can spend $200 on Facebook ads. I can post 10 million times on Facebook that I'm doing this party on next week or whatever, and 50 people will show up, or 100 people will show up, or 200 people will show up. 2, 3 people in the community that dance, normal people, and they post on Facebook, I'm so excited to go to this party, this is going to be awesome, with 3 emojis, there. Now you have 20, 30 people that just listen to that one person, and they want to come to the party because they feel like it's going to be great. And the same thing happens when something negative goes along. Somebody says something negative in the community, the same thing happens there. So I think, moving forward as a leader is A, recognizing your flaws, B, trying to find out what to do about them, and then 3, if you get stuck like I am, then be realistic to say, okay, now I have to decide outside of the box, where else can I seek for these answers that I need, to then decide whether I can continue doing this or not. And that could mean that you find the answer finally. It could take a long time, you find the answer, and then you come stronger than ever, and then you do whatever you're doing. Or B, it might ruin your career and you're done. And that could be a good thing, or it could be a bad thing. It could turn into Wozniak's example, which maybe he's not as happy as he would have been if he would have been representing Apple with Steve all along for all these years, and then he feels fulfilled. But maybe he's happy. He has a wife, he has kids, he has $1 million in the account, and he's okay. He's still okay. But it could also mean that you have to let your ego go and be like, okay, maybe there's another industry altogether that you can be part of. Maybe your calling is something else.
Right.
And then you move to something else. And so that's the challenging, because your passion and your energy and spending 15 years in doing something, it kind of puts you in a position where you're like, man, you spend so much that you don't see a doctor going after 15 years, very often go, you know what, I don't know, I have another calling. I'm going to be, a dancer now. You know, like,
Right.
so I think that's what that is, and in the community is realizing, is this something you want to see continue for the next couple of years? Do you want this community to be here 10 years from now? Who do you think are the real leaders in this community that can take that there? What can you do to support these people, and what can you do to make it better?
Right.
Is there anything that you can do? And if there is, I implore you to do the right thing and take some action, because people will admire you and will respect you more about that. Even if you fear that people will look at you like, oh, he's taking sides with so and so, whatever. No, that's there's the right thing and there's the bad thing. And all these people, that represent Me Too movement, LGBTQ community, freaking, any racism act, gun violence, whatever it is that people do to stand up for what is right, it shows that energy
Right.
that as long as you're civil and you're doing it in a responsible way, it's a beautiful thing. It's positive and it's great energy, and it inspires others to do the right thing as well. So
If
that's what I can say about that.
I couldn't agree more, bro. And thank you for that. I would like to add one thing though, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, man.
Um, there's something extremely powerful about endurance, and for people that have been doing something for so long, have a sense of practice, have a sense of endurance, have a sense of strength, in the sense that by default experience
Mm-hmm.
gives us a sense of ability to deal with adversity greater by default than those younger than us,
Right.
which is why by default we respect our elders. They have simply gone through more than us, which by default makes them wiser.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, good sir Christian Sola, you by default are wiser, and no one can take that away from you, in the sense that if the same thing, which it will, if the same thing happens, that what happened to you happens to them, will they push forward?
Right.
And the fact is me be, and I can tell you this firsthand, I have had so many people come up against me directly. And just by me just not even acknowledging it and continuing to move forward, them dealing with 10% of the adversity that I've gone through, they fall off the map.
Right.
Simply fall off the map. So
Mm-hmm.
now all of a sudden, I have students now from 10 years ago. Now that they're putting their kids in my program because I'm the only one standing.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So one thing that I've found, and I've been in the same place. I've been in, too often, and it's just like now what? And I even have business partners and instructors like, Andres, what are you gonna do? Andres, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And I'm like, I'm gonna keep doing what I've always been doing. I'm the one. Thank you. This is what I tell my haters. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to get stronger, because I'm not quitting. I by default, as long as I don't stop, I'm winning the race. Period. And thank God that I still got a lot of years or hopefully I have a lot of years in front of me still, and my endurance is getting stronger. I'm moving faster, I'm getting smarter, and it's not going to stop. Keep bring it on. Bring it on, because I probably already faced it. One, and if I haven't, let's do it. Let's go. The quicker that I can jump over that hurdle or get smacked in the face by that hurdle, that means that eventually I'm going to get out of it. I'm going to roll out of it. It might take a year, 2 years, 5 years.
Right.
Great. But I got time. I got time. And very few people are the age that I am with the experience that I have.
21, right? 21.
No, I'm actually 19. 19.
I'm sorry for insulting you. Sorry.
No, 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 no. It's okay because I don't get ID'd at the front anymore. No, so but yeah, man. So I wanna add that in there. And as far as for adversity is concerned, I feel because it's all about how you look at it. It's all about how you look at it, and when I see a challenge, it sucks. It does suck 100%. But I'm always looking for the opportunity to jump out of it and to see where okay, well, you know what? Maybe if I created this legal form, if everyone signed this form, or something so silly like that, something legal, or maybe if I would have said this from the get go to these people, to these business partners, to these people that I trusted, maybe if I made this
I've been
clear,
there.
so there's always going to be, in my opinion, it might not be exactly the same in the same industry, but the same scenario, I feel energetically, is always going to present itself to you again. And it's always like, okay, so I gave you this challenge. Okay, you fell. Okay, great. Now I'm going to energetically, I'm going to send you the same exact challenge and see what you're going to do now. Are you
Right.
going to fall again at the same exact spot? Or are you going to jump over it? Because the second that you jump over, guess what? The next challenge is going to be even bigger and is going to try and smack you in the face again. And that's by nature. I feel this is what life is. It's just constant adversity, constant challenges from every direction, and constantly trying to sideswipe you in every single way that you can. And the better that you can adapt to those changes,
Right.
is ultimately is what's going to allow you to be successful in anything that you do. Just because you've already gone through so much shit, you've
Right.
gone through so much stuff that nothing phases you. There's a picture that I posted. Oh my god, I saw it and straight up I cried. Legit. There's a baby wolf on the
Mm-hmm.
floor with an arrow in its side, and he's like bleeding, and he's like kind of like, you can tell like he's kind of knocked out. And then you see like a dad wolf looking over him with like 50 arrows in his back, like
Wow.
standing. He's
Yeah.
standing like 50 arrows in his back, and it was saying, life doesn't get any easier, you just get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So that for me was like, oh, like crazy. But the point is that the arrows are going to keep coming, and the arrows are probably going to get bigger and stronger and faster, so that you can, move faster. It's just opportunities. I see them. I have learned to see them, or I have trained myself to see them as opportunities to test my my wisdom, my courage, my strength. Uh, you know, let's take this directly to dancing. And that's where I go with back to the responsibility of the leads, and this is I represent leads here. Um, is give me somebody you know who's just kind of sort of maybe learned a little bit. Let me see. I want to see how good I can do with them. That excites me. I love dancing with the general public, and everybody knows that. The
Right.
public loves me because I'm like, she's like, I see like an older lady like kind of like dancing by herself. I run straight to her. I run straight to her because one, I know that she's enjoying herself. One,
Right.
two, it's I want to see how well I can do in my partner dancing abilities. And I'm directly going to experience adversity, dance adversity, I guess you could say.
Yes.
Because she's gonna want to do her own thing. She's got her habits. She's got this. She's got that. Not saying it's anything bad, but it's just not necessarily trained. So I'm gonna take my training. How high? How much more am I up here than the challenge to be able to raise that up? You know what I mean? So that kinds of stuff. Like I'm not saying like, yeah, I love adversity, but but because man, it sucks, bro. Like you get out for, sometimes you get you into a funk for days, weeks, months, years, depending on the situation. But I'm always trying as quickly as I can, as best as I can, figure out what went wrong, check out those faults. Was it because of one of these faults,
Mhm.
originally? Did I make the same mistake again? Is it a pattern? you know and just to try adelantar, siempre, man. And I'm with you 100%. And may God, or whatever you believe in, continue to bless you, bro. And palante, with whatever that is, whatever palante means, to
Yep.
you, or to you who's watching. uh Palante, palante, palante. In casino, we're always stepping forward. We're always moving forward, always going. The direction might change, but it's always forward. And I kind of bring that into my teachings as well. Palante, palante, palante. Always, always, always forward. Even if you made a left turn, okay, great. Then go forward that way. You know, and that way by default we're just naturally getting stronger over time. I mean, it's literally inevitable, and the time is gonna pass anyway. The time is gonna pass anyway. I mean, tomorrow, 24 hours from now will be 24 hours from now. Tomorrow will be tomorrow,
Yeah.
and it's just the choices that we make from here to tomorrow will determine where we're gonna be at
Right.
tomorrow.
One thing I would like to say too. You mentioned like respecting your elders, or the wisdom that is there, whatever. Like if you're watching and you are dealing with whatever sense of adversity is or whatever, before you kind of quit something, or before you make some radical decision or something. I've seen people that quit dancing because they perceive one thing and they didn't know how to handle it, so they just kind
Oh,
of walk away from it. And it's sad, because a lot of times it could have been things that could have been resolved.
absolutely.
Don't hold back into reaching out. And this is what I've done, and after so long that I've been doing this, sometimes I don't have all the answers, so I have to talk to somebody
Claro.
that perhaps is kind of like in the same, like before the show started. Andres is saying that we both kind of have the same amount of years that we've been dancing together, so that will be kind of equal. He may have some wisdom that I don't have. I may have some wisdom that he doesn't have. But
Absolutely.
then you have people like Billy Fajardo, who's been doing this for 40 years.
Right.
So he's doing this twice. He's twice my age.
Right.
So you always have somebody out there that usually will be willing to help,
Yes.
willing to sit down with you, willing to talk to you. We're not unreachable, which is something that I hear sometimes all the time, like, oh, you look intimidating. I don't feel like I am
Right.
comfortable calling you and messaging you. No,
Thank you.
call me,
Thank
message me on
Yes.
Facebook,
Yes.
say something, pull me out of social, even if my face looks like a resting face, it's maybe because I'm thinking about something, but you can come to me. I'm a full book open, a book of answers
I'm glad you
that
said
I
that.
don't mind helping. And I know Andres is, because we've sat down for no reason, sometimes 4 or 5 hours, in front of his studio, just to talk crap and talk about issues that are important, but just nobody's paying us. We're just doing it because we want to and we care.
Right.
And so I just want to put that out there, because a lot of times people see us as we're on a pedestal or something like that.
Ugh.
And I'm here to help. Like, I'm here to help. I'm here to collaborate. I'm here to work with anybody. And if anybody watching has any ideas or any thoughts or any tips,
Please.
also that they can add to what we have said. Maybe you can have a recommendation or an advice for me for what I'm dealing with and all that. I would love to. I would love to hear what you have to say, and hopefully it'll help somebody. So
I was just gonna say that right now, guys. We're gonna open up the floor. For those of you that have you agree, you disagree of anything that I said or that Christian says, or you've gone through, or you're going through something, or maybe you want to share a story on here as well. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What challenges have you faced, recently or in the past that you found that maybe you got stuck, that you weren't able to do it, that you just found that just changing course completely was the best scenario, and then balante 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 after making a left turn, or maybe it was just kind of just sticking it out, and it was just kind of maybe a test to see if what you really wanted is what you really wanted, and it kind of dissipated the second that you chose to face it. That's the message of Star Wars all over. Like the second that you battle the second that you go against your fear, it disappears. It's all an illusion, quote unquote. But so yeah, by all means, go ahead, share away. We're all open ears, please. And again, Christian, thank you for sharing that, because I've heard the same exact things. I don't, I'm not comfortable in talking with you about this kind of stuff. I'm like, what? Like, I wish I had somebody, like to
same
tell.
thing here.
Yeah, like what? Like what? I'm the one. I was the one, the annoying one in class. Oh my God, Andres is asking another question. Oh yeah. Oh, I want to.
I just said that in Atlanta this weekend. I was
Yeah.
Saturday. I was doing a workshop, and I always ask, is anybody any questions? Any questions? And usually nobody wants to ask a question.
Right.
And there was one girl, if she's watching, I don't know if she is, but Nicole, and she kept asking questions throughout the entire workshop. And then at some point I stopped and I said, I just want to let you guys know there's one person here that's getting her money's worth. Is this girl right here?
That's right.
Yeah, she has asked already like 10 questions.
That's
And then I said exactly what you just said, which is funny. We have a lot of things in common. I said, You know who's the most annoying student in the world?
Right
Right here.
here.
Like I ask questions every single coaching class that I'm doing, whatever that I'm taking with somebody. I'm like every 2 seconds. So what about this and
So
that?
okay,
Yeah.
so
I want to know it. I want to know it inside out from every
backwards,
single
upside
angle. Like
down.
I want to know everything, and
Absolutely.
that's so important. So important to ask questions, to be open to it. Very very important. So,
Well, I
by the
think
way, I don't know if you noticed,
yes.
I'm rocking your.
Yes. Look over
This
here,
is
my
the
mic
first
over here.
one. This is the first one I think that you gave me. I think this is the first one that you gave
Yes, it
me
is. Yes,
for
it
you.
is.
So,
2015. That was our
and then if
first
people
year,
are
man.
watching, the question is, are we wearing pants or not? You're never gonna
You
know.
never know.
You're never gonna know. You're never gonna know because we may look dressed up and have makeup and hair and all
Right,
this stuff,
claro.
whatever. But you don't know what's happening. Maybe we're casual right now. Maybe we're wearing speedos.
Yeah.
Maybe we're wearing
We
pajamas.
could be in the same house. We could be in the same. We could be across city, across from each other. This could not be real bricks. Everything is not
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
seems. For sure.
Oh
For
man.
sure. For sure. Oh yeah.
We had this person said our biggest competitor is Zumba, CrossFit, and Tinder.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's very
Totally.
interesting.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to compete with Tinder, but I guess they could be
To-
Sensual too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. No, no. There's the direct competitors and then the indirect competitors. 100%. Yeah, yeah. No, for sure. That's when you were talking about you were talking about competition and their socials or their school or whatever.
Right.
Is when I'm sorry, Glenn is when he said that and when he brought that up. My brother, an absolute pleasure, man. Always great to
Same here.
shoot the beep with you.
Yep.
And I no, I definitely think that this is a golden nugget, 100%. And it's just so common. It's just so common, and it's so not spoken about.
Hmm.
And I'm so glad that we did an episode. And go figure, when you said adversity, because I have a little notes. Team Apple, I have a notes. And I had my different podcast ideas, and adversity was one of them. And go figure, when you said adversity, I'm like, perfect. And I was
Yep.
able to scratch that one off. Because it's definitely something that needs to be spoken about, man. And we go through it every single day. And it has everything to do with, first of all, how we see it, how we see the adversity, and then of course how we face that, and what's ultimately going to be best for us, in the long run. How do we take this curveball and, you know do we hit it like this? Do we hit it like that? Do we just let it ride? Is it a ball? Yeah, etc. Man. So thank you very very much appreciated. Is there anything? Are there any? Is there anything that you would like to share with everybody, as far as, for do you have classes? Do you have a social? Do you have a
Yeah, no,
website you'd like to
I
bring
mean, right
everybody to?
now, I'm in Orlando, so obviously, I'm in Orlando, whatever. But in terms of, no, right now I'm booked. I again thinking outside the box. You kind of move forward, like you were talking about. So, o palante, like you said, and so,
Pa'lante, 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 for
so
sure.
I booked myself. I'm traveling right now mostly every weekend. I'm up until October.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be in different cities teaching or whatever. But then I also launched for the first time now after so many years. I launched my Sensual Bachata certification program, which you and I talked about when I was in Miami.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I did a I'm doing a pilot. I'm doing a pilot,
Okay.
certification in Atlanta, and it's working really well. I'm going there every second weekend. So this weekend was the second. It's divided in three different visits.
Okay.
So the next one is going to be next month, and then those that get certified, and those that complete the program but didn't get certified, they get their certificates. And then from there, I'm going to take some notes, feedback, and all of that, repackage it again, and then start launching it in different cities and start going everywhere. And then phase one is obviously social dancing, which is always, in my opinion, the most important thing first.
Absolutely.
Understanding that. So that's phase one. Phase two will be performing, not necessarily if you have to perform or want to perform on a stage, but you need to understand that concept and counts and choreography and what does that mean, more tricks, body awareness, bunch of things like that.
Sure.
And then the phase three will be then if you want to teach, and now how do you become an instructor and get instructor training, which is something that 99% of the people don't get,
Of
and they
course.
just become good
Tell me about it.
dancers, and then they just learn on their own. I was blessed that I took some instructor training when I started, and so I think I have now a really good syllabus, if you will,
Right.
that kind of explains that. So I'm doing that, and yeah, just moving around. I mean, right now, my pages are, I have Bahari.com, so that's
Okay.
my company in
That's
Orlando.
two H's and
Uh,
one R, correct?
Yes, double H ARI Bahari. And then I have my Facebook pages, of course, under my name as well as the Bahari page. And yeah, that's it. I need to get you in my show, though. I need to get you in my two dancers having a drink show. I haven't launched the show yet,
Nice. Two
so I
dancers
haven't made an
having a
announcement
drink.
or anything. But I've been collecting interviews for about a year now, and I have a lot of big names, and I just haven't said anything about it. So I'm connecting little by little, and then it's a very short show, but it's meant to be for people to know more about us as people
Sure.
rather than dance, because they know our dance background, but
Right,
they don't
right,
get
right,
to know
right.
what do we do for fun, what are our pet peeves, things like that. And so I have to get you in that show, but that we have to schedule that for sure. So that'll be fun.
That will
So
definitely be fun. That would be awesome. That would be really, really cool. I'm super down for that. Yeah, man. Let me know. Let me know. I'm always down. Um, Palante, 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 bro. Palante, palante. Let me know about that. Very important. Please let me know about that instructor certification. I have some of my people, including myself, that would be interested in that. Any and all training. I mean, I'm not a bachatero, but I love bachata.
yeah.
I personally, I am on the Dominican side. I do have to say that. But nonetheless, I definitely, I love it. I love the music. I love the dance, and any and all crossings. I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
If you can get me to understand what cucaracha means and dame una and dame dos one day, then I would love, because all I know is the names. I don't know what they mean. I have
Right.
no
Gotcha.
idea.
Gotcha.
Palante, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have no clue.
Gotcha.
I was thrown in a rueda. We can end with this, because you were. I don't know if I told you this or not, but I
No,
was
no.
I was thrown in a rueda in Spain. When I'm there in Madrid, there was a rueda of like 70 or 80 people in a club. Huge. You will be in heaven. And they do this huge rueda, and the promoter knows that I don't know anything about Casino Rueda, that I have no clue. And on purpose, he gets on the mic and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a big superstar from the U.S. His name is Christian Sola. He's gonna be jumping into the rueda with you guys, blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" I looked at him, and he's like, and I'm like, oh, so I literally am thrown in there, and then I'm dancing, of course, dancing basic. I can do basic,
Right.
but then they think some sort of, whether it's dame una,
Oh my
dame
god.
dos, or cucaracha, or whatever it is,
Right.
and people are passing me girls. I'm supposed to pass my girl, but I don't know when that happens. So
Right.
now people are bumping against each other, bro. Oh my! It was the most ridiculous thing, and he
Oh my
laughed the entire time. Made me, like, embarrassed me the whole time.
Oh my
But that
god.
was my traumatizing experience with a rueda.
Wow.
So
I'm
so yeah, so
yeah.
maybe if you can get me to understand at least 3 or 4, so I can defend myself, that would be
That would
that.
it would be a lot. It would be a pleasure, and it's a lot easier than you think. That I can
And
promise
if,
you.
and if you can show me how to dance with two girls salsa like you do on top of yachts and stuff, then that would be great too. You know.
That's just marketing, bro. That's just marketing. I paid those girls. I paid for that.
Oh
I'm
man.
not that cool, bro. I'm not that cool. I'm not that cool.
It happens. It happens organically. It just happens.
Oh yeah, an absolute pleasure, man. We
Man,
we we've been on this. We've been on this now for an hour and 24 minutes.
there you go.
Not including the pre-show.
Yep.
But definitely, man. Thanks again, and again, feel free, guys, to drop your comments in here either on the live video or afterwards. I can obviously, of course, or where can people reach you? What's probably the
Yeah,
easiest way to
the
reach you
easiest way
directly?
will be my page on Facebook. I have my personal profile, but I have my actual page that you can like and you can communicate there, no problem. And
Okay, so the Bahari like page, the Bahari business
that's
page.
my business, yeah. But also, if you want to reach me also directly, like, there's a Christian Sola page, which
Okay,
is my artist page, and you
okay,
can also message me there and ask any questions. Yeah,
perfect,
that's the best
perfect.
way.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I definitely want people to be able to reach out to you. God, the spelling is obviously, of course, right here on the screen, guys. To go ahead and make that happen, and you'll see his goofy face on there on the default. For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Okay, oh yeah, thank you so much again, and thank you all so much for tuning in as usual. Feel free to go ahead and message us, guys. info@salsakings.com as well. Shoot us an email for anything that you guys would like to hear as well, certain or specific topics, or perhaps you just want to share your story with either myself or with Christian. Perhaps you just want to keep it a little bit more private, and however we can help, whether that be in the dance scene or not. We're human too. We go through stuff, and luckily we have this dance outing, that seems to save so many people too. That to kind of deal with all the adversity, we kind of go to the dancing to help us out with that, to kind of free our mind, etc., which is absolutely wonderful and a blessing. Capitan Sola, thank you again. A million and a
Thank you so
half, a
much, man.
million and a half thank yous, and we'll be in touch.
All right, man. Later. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely, you too. Be good. Bye bye.